you go to Oregon, right?
Right.
And like in my head, and I never said this out loud, in my head, I was like, I don't know. Because when you look at Oregon, especially Eugene, surrounded by all the trees and grass,
Yeah.
they have that like highest pollen counts in like the United States,
Yeah.
right? This was one of the things that you're
I
allergic
didn't
to.
know that though.
I know.
I just thought it rained all the time.
Right. And I was like, and I remember, actually, I do remember having this discussion. I was like, because I think you or your dad asked, and I was like, well, it rains and maybe that pushes all the antigen down in the dirt.
It usually does.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're running in the dirt. So like you're lifting it up in the air as you're running.
Yeah.
So but it's a thing. Like athletes that go to Oregon that have asthma,
Mhm.
they have the potential to have more exacerbations. Like you can read about it.
Yeah.
It's not just the pollen counts and the grass counts and all of that in the air,
Mhm.
but it's also the wildfires that take place in Oregon too, because there's a lot of those. So
Right.
all of those things, and it actually does matter. So much so that University of Oregon has a little bit of a support system. Did you feel
Yeah.
that when you were up there?
Yeah, like I remember because of the pollen, and then we have NCAA there, like
Yeah.
our NCAA championships there. So, and that's in the peak of pollen season. And so all these colleges come in and everybody's just sniffling and not having a good time because
Yeah.
all the pollen. But I did deal with a lot of like sicknesses that came up. My iron level was extremely low. I got seasonal depression. There was a lot of things that kind of happened. I think I felt like I was sick the whole time I was there, but that could have been also allergies.
Yeah, you were sick a lot.
Yeah.
I remember this, and I remember thinking like, here's this athlete. She did so well in high school.
Mhm.
You set all of these records,
Yeah.
right? And then you're going to college for your next chapter.
Yeah.
And now you're up in Oregon, and you had my phone number, right? And so you're
Mhm.
texting me like every week that you just don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I remember putting you on a bunch of oral corticosteroids, not
Mhm.
just Oregon, but I think I had sent a few of those
Right.
prescriptions up there too.
Yeah.
So then we did something, right? So
Mhm.
what happened then? What do you remember then?
When I came back home from Oregon, well, I came back for a lot of things. One, I needed to come back to sunshine because I think my low vitamin D levels was also another reason why I was sick. Like they all kind of just go together. So I needed to come back to the sunshine. And then I saw you.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started Dupixent. And since then, I would say all those like spouts of fear that I said I had originally, I think those have kind of gone away when I do workouts. I don't fear having any, episodes or anything because I actually haven't had any since I've been on Dupixent. So that has been like a huge game changer.
When you look at a patient like Shae, so she had severe asthma, she had a little bit of an eosinophil count, so the allergic cell in your body was up, and then she continued to need oral corticosteroids. And so when you look at the different sort of newer therapies, biologics, right, which are monoclonal antibodies that inhibit certain inflammatory mediators in your body to calm down the systemic inflammation that contributes to your asthma, she was a perfect candidate for dupilumab or Dupixent, which was indicated for oral corticosteroid dependent asthma, which she was because she was taking oral corticosteroids all the time. So here's the thing, though. This girl was training to go to the Olympics. And so in this new world of treatment regimens for asthma and her having to manage when she could take steroids, when she couldn't because of the anti-doping agency, I also had to find out if Dupixent was cool, if she could give herself an injection because it's an injection every couple of weeks, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to go through all these things, email people, and we figured out that it was all good. We put you on it. You clearly responded well. And then you transfer back to UCLA. What did that do for you mentally? And what did that do for you physically?
Yeah. So mentally, I started getting back into the swing of things. I think that seasonal depression kind of lingered a little bit. And then also coming back from Oregon, I came into UCLA with a stress fracture in my spine. So right when I got to UCLA, I actually wasn't able to compete that whole year again. So I just mentally, I don't know, I was going up and down. I was back happy being home, but dealing with injury that was kind of severe, stress fracture your spine. And with the recovery on that, you just don't do anything for 10 weeks. So I couldn't even do biking. I couldn't even do core. Like I couldn't even keep myself in shape.
Wow.
So that was weird. But I think academic wise, it was actually good for me to get a sense of what the academics are at UCLA because it's very different from it being in Oregon. It was way harder. I remember going going about it the same way I did in Oregon because I was a pretty smart kid, I would say, and I didn't really have to study much. And I kind of did that my first quarter at UCLA, and I failed all my midterms. And so I kind of used it as like, oh, I need to actually apply myself academically, and went to office hours every day, ended up bringing all my F's to A's by the time the quarter was over. So I think it was actually like a bad but a good thing at the same time because I was able to, have a better transition, not have too much going on that year. And then that's when you put me on Dupixent. So obviously I wasn't training hard, but it was just a good like little transition year. And so then the next year, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so that was like another year that kind of just set me back and like, okay, at least we'll have an extra year to train for the Olympics because, it got pushed back a year.
Yeah.
So, a lot of I've gotten hit by a lot of things that kind of set me back, but I feel like now looking back at it, it was kind of a good thing. And, I'm always somebody that thinks things happen for a reason.